Hello, we are from Group 4. Today's topic is about leadership. My companion and I would like to give an explanation regarding our leader, whom we have been previously been interviewed about. So, before that, this is our team members from Group 4. I am Sophia. As a presenter today with my partner Sunita. From the left to right, there is me, Sophia, Ani, Sunita, Zarifa, Aisha, Zakwan, Alia, Erina, and Jeffrey. Everyone has a specific significant function in completing this task. So, okay, we introduce our leader that we have been interviewed before, which is Mr. Fakhrurrazi. He graduated with diploma in broadcasting, radio and television, and continued with Bachelor of Arts with honors in digital film and television at Lim Kok Wing University, Creative Technology in Cyberjaya. He currently working as a marketing manager since 2019 until now at MauKerja. Later, I will explain more about MauKerja company. Mr. Jeff achieved as a team and managed to be in top 6 from last quarter of 2020 and first quarter in 2021. This is a few photos from Mr. Jeff that he sent to me. This is the crew members that as a team member, so yeah. So I explain about a job. MauKerja is a job in Sedang Berhad, the actual name. So MauKerja is Malaysia's most up-to-date job search engine with thousands of government and private sector positions available throughout the country. So every country have a job position so that MauKerja offer. So MauKerja has a junior and non-executive job openings organized according to states and specialization for your convenience. So they also did some videos about interview tips, resume about the job, and many more. So you can search at YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and also MauKerja have their own application. You can download it. Okay. Next.
Next, for the report question. For the first question, what does leadership mean to Mr. Jeff? He says that leadership is create goals to achieve with the subordinates and also to ensure all the employees align with the objective of the company. Besides that, he says that leader is a responsibility, not a power. For the second question that we ask is strength and his weaknesses. First is his strength. His strength is to be honest and straightforward in giving feedback. He always does to ensure that his team always know the current performance and make efforts to improve from day to day. He always give a task that to his team for the quarter year that and will ask them whether they have improved for this quarter and will be improving for the next quarter. Next is ensure people respect him. Even though his team is composed of various even though his team composed of various of with people with different ages, they always respect him as a leader. Next is brave person. Mr. Jeff said brave are not that brave to scold, but brave to manage the team or make decision. He gives us example how he needs to be brave to fire his employees that also his friend for the sake of the well-being for the company. For his weaknesses is lack of marketing purposes. As we know, he graduated as a film student, but this doesn't prevent him to lead a marketing department. He goes for seminars and asks from experts about marketing. Next slide. Okay, for the actions that enable others to be successful is what he said to us is trust yourself. He says that it's good to concern to certain things so that we will not be confident and accept advice from others. But at the end of the day, you should trust yourself so that what you want will be smooth. Next is good common sense. For example, he gives us like if you saw a rubbish in your office, will you pick up or you will just watch it? If you have a common sense, you will think about about something before you make decision. Next is create own goals. It means you need to know the challenges that you will be facing and should prepare earlier. For example, when you are applying for vacancy, you will know that you are having a lot of competition. So what you should do, you have to have an extra skills to be selected. Next is leaders make others feel strong and confident. What do you do to help them to feel that way? He says he makes his employees to have to be a decision maker. He also told us that sometimes his employee will ask him, "Is it okay?" Then he will say to his employee, "You should decide and think the pro and cons since you have been given the trust." If the project success, the employees will proud and confident. In the process, he will always check the progress of the employees. Next slide. For the next question, which is what is the greatest influence for Mr. Jeff? Mr. Jeff said his greatest influence is Mr. Shafiq, his former leader, which older 3 years old than him, and he had been in the company for a long time. Mr. Shafiq told him that we must be a person that work like a round log. We have to imagine that we are on the hillside, which one of the round log or the square log will reach down the hill first. Of course, the round log, because it can move on its own, not like the square log that needs force from others to move downhill. It means if that person has their own initiative to do their own work and make sure an extra effort to complete their task. The next question is what is advice to us to be a leader? He said if you don't know anything or you don't know how to do a task, you should ask and catch up fast to go out from your comfort zone. Before we earn, and then he also said before we earn respect, we should respect others first. And he also says we should be flexible and easy to blend with situation. Next slide. Okay, for the theory, first theory that we learned is leader-member exchange theory, which is a unique one-to-one relationship. Leader can influence employees through the quality of relationship. For instance, he shows a good common sense towards his team, such as helping and being understanding of their situation. Jeff's behavior on having strong common sense show us that it is good to have and appropriate to do a leader, because having common sense is now like a basic requirement in our life, as it can make people indirectly respect us. Next is trait leadership theory, personal characteristics that support their ability to share vision. He says that to be a good leader depends on the personality, depends on our personality. He is a straightforward person. So he said that is the way how he be a person, that how he be a leader is to be a straightforward person, so that his team will be can improve themselves and never feel afraid of anything. Next is part goal theory. Leader behavior is contingent to certification, motivation, and performance of their employees. He will do a reflection on his team members every week so that he gets to know whether they are success achieving their target or not. Plus, he also will ask why and how the team members can successful and fail to achieve their target. By doing this, Jeff is helping his team members to remove any obstacles that may impair his team ability to achieve their target. Jeff action has displayed cognitive ability skills as a leader. Next is Skinner's operant learning theory, which is positive reinforcement, which is adding a rewarding stimulus. So Mr. Jeff will treat his employees' tea life or Starbucks as a reward to show that his appreciation towards them because they have succeeded to achieve their target.
Okay, next, I will explain about the recommendations for the leader as a leader. So the first one is separate his life between personal life and work. So this is because even if he has earned the trust, respect, and liking of his staff, people can still do inappropriate behavior to him, such as take him for granted. In other words, he needs to establish boundaries between leader-employee relationships and friendships. So the second one is implement high self-confidence to his workers. So each of them does not need to rely on their leader, as they are confident enough to complete the task and achieve the goals with guidance from their leader. So the third one, assign to manage specific tasks. As a result, the workload on that specific top leader can be reduced with the assistance of each group's main leader. So the last but not least is implement an extension in his behavior. As his team members lack of positive reinforcement, this method somehow will decline the undesired behavior. So that's all. So this is the interview sessions for the past few weeks with Mr. Jeff. So there is people. So okay. So let's sum up.
Okay, so for the conclusion, Mr. Jeff have fulfilled most of the leadership element and have good leadership skills to lead his team towards the objective of the company. So, effective leadership is necessitates a combination of qualities, competencies, and interpersonal characteristics. Theories are used to be described how leaders can achieve extraordinary level follower motivation, adoption, commitment, respect, belief, dedication, devotion, and also performance. As a consequence, in order to stay ahead of their competition, companies need to adapt to a constantly changing environment. Leaders
Please say a leader is about vision and responsibility, not power. So that's all from us today. So thank you.